some milk.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Remember, no matter who you are valid. It is raining outside. It is not exactly chill. I could go out like this in just a t-shirt, and I'd be too cold, but if I kept moving around, I'd probably be okay. But then I overheat quickly. But it is raining. I walked to Walmart, and I got stuff in paper bags. And the moment I walked out, it started to rain. So thumbs up on that. Had to rush carrying my paper bags. And I don't know if I've talked about this any. I generally wear just cheap Walmart shoes because I can't afford anything else. I also have bought another pair of boots for bad weather, but we never really had any bad weather over the winter, which is what I bought them for, so I've largely not been using them. But the shoes, being just cheap Walmart shoes, well, the last time I went out and I came back, they were just destroyed. The inside had been so filled with water and mud that it was ripped apart, the sole was coming out, the tops had cracked. It was just like wearing basically Crocs. So I got rid of those, and I'm just using now the boots that I had bought. What a change. What a change. My heel was not gripped. It was very loose in the back where my heel was, so that it wouldn't rub, because any pressure on the bone spurs area makes it hurt. But the boots, they come up about this far above my ankle, and they grip my heel. But because I've got that support all the way up and above my ankle, my heel does not hurt anywhere near as much as it did. Even with it gripping the back of my foot in the boot, it doesn't hurt. It's, I guess, restricting a lot of some of the motion and movement, so it's not rubbing that tendon over the bone spurs. But whatever reason, yeah, I'm wearing these from now on. I got up, I put on the boots, and I've been running around, not running, but I've been moving around quickly. And so thumbs up for that. I mean, I'm going to be wearing boots like this, and they're hopefully going to last longer. They were like 35, 40 bucks, something like that. So normal Walmart shoes are anywhere just $15 to $25, and they last not long at all. So, which is part of the poverty tax. If you can't afford high quality boots, all you can afford is low quality boots. But the boots wear out faster, so you gotta buy more of them. So as a poverty tax, because you can only afford the cheap boots, you spend like twice as much money on boots as you would if you just bought the good pair of boots. But you can't afford the good boots. You can only afford the cheap ones. You can't save up, because then you've got no boots at all. Poverty tax. One of them. Yay. Also, one of the things that I've been trying to do with rice, when I've done things like, I had some here, when I bought like these, I bought red beans. They're red and they're beans. Hence the name. I wanted to make up beans to go with the rice. But I have been long thinking, because I don't just want unflavored beans as a side, and nor do I'm trying to keep my head from the top of the screen, nor do I just want to have, you know, a bunch of just non-seasoned beans mixed in with the rice. And I've been thinking back, because when we've gone to Mexican style restaurants, there'll be beans, rice, cheese, tortilla with a little bit of lettuce, and then variations thereon is like all the various meals, roughly. So I've been wanting to approximate that sort of thing with beans, and I finally figured it out. What I need is refried beans. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to be using a tortilla type thing because too much chewiness, but I'm going to be getting like a plate to put on the normal size of rice that I would have, and then have some beans on the side, and then I'm thinking a little bit of chili. That way a can of chili will last, like, instead of 1 can is 1 meal, or 2 cans is 2 meals, the way I've been doing it. If I add refried beans as a side, that's, each one of these would last, you know, 1, make 3 meals out of that. So that's not bad. And I've been wanting to get refried beans and such back into my diet, he said, waving it around like it was trying to escape. I am such a silly, silly boy at 61 years old. I use the term boy only to refer to older people like myself, of course, not in an actual, oh, I think I'm young sort of way. It's just, look at humanity, boys, girls, others. It's just a way of terming. Yay. I don't even know what I'm trying to say as something. So now that I've not said that, one of the things that I really want to play for myself in the channel is this. I have not had a chance to play it yet, and I'm irate about that. And I still want to play Space Marines Labyrinth of the Necrons, Space Marine Adventures Labyrinth of the Necrons for the channel, because I've played that, and while it is fun, the Necrons don't fight back, so yay. But I want to do this for the channel, and one of the things they do is really cool, while at the same time, you know, kind of, they're not well made. You have to put them together yourself. I'm digging them out, don't worry. They have health counters for the characters that you had to punch out and put together, and they spin because there's 2 cardboard pieces, and however many hit points your character has, you know, as you take damage, you count it down until, it's hard to do backwards. For me, it's backwards. Whee! And then if you get down to the bottom, then you are dead. But they're cardboard, so they flippity floppity apart real well. But that's neat. I like the fact that they've got these. So you can use a 20-sided die as a health counter. You can use something like this as a health counter. And again, this is really cool. I just wish it wasn't so flippy floppy. But you put them together yourselves. There's 4 of them though, so that's cool. But I want to do that for the channel. I've got other stuff. So there's plans. Just got to push through stuff. And of course, still doing, got the second half of the 4 Against Darkness, which up there, further going along with all the work that I put into something. This is just a solo thing. I don't need 99% of the work that I have put into the solo setting. Isn't important. I mean, if I'm just doing this for myself, then all this work to do this, to tell this, that's really kind of silly, isn't it? But on the other hand, there is the person that changes their name like almost as much as the sun shines. Chris in the comments was talking about, you should do a book, make a game about your setting. And the thing about that is everyone in the world has got a setting. I mean, not a setting, a system. You should do make a system. Everyone in the world has a system. I mean, I've got systems galore that I still have to go through. There's Cairn, and there's Knave, and there's Maze Rats, and those are just 3 of the quick, fast ones. Oh my gosh, Forge, which I'm doing, Scarlet Heroes, White Box, Swords and Crusaders, Swords and Wizardry. It's actually astonishing how many things are out there. So yeah, another system, unless you're a big name, and there are big names, like Critical Role came out with whatever their system is. Unless you're a big name, you're not going to get anyone really looking in your direction. So I don't want to put a lot of work into the setting because, into the system, because there are so many other systems out there. Anything that I do as a system is not going to be as good as the systems that are out there. I mean, holy smokes. Alex T, Black Oath Entertainment, he puts out like, it looks like 3 complete big RPG systems every year. And they're not just big as in big and fluffy, they are dense with information. he did a post like on X, and I replied back to it, and he just said, "Oh, thank you very much," because I was like amazed at his output. I said, "You do more in a weekend than I can do in a year." And he said, "Yeah, he just sits down and he does this stuff 7 days a week, all day. That's what he does. Solo RPG stuff and fleshing it out to make sure it works." And not just that. I mean, again, there's this one system here, and then there's this system here, and then there's this system here. All of them distinct from each other. And he's really good with settings. I mean, if I could just do a settings book, that would be one thing. I don't mind doing settings stuff. It's just, if I'm going to play a game, I want my own setting. And if somebody else is going to play a game, they probably want their own setting. Now, I know that's not completely true. If you take a look at Dungeons and Dragons, the amount of books done on there, I can't even remember the various worlds, but there's the Forgotten Lands and all that. They have novels worth of stuff done on just the settings and not the systems. Sometimes actual novels, as well as comic books, as well as game material, and it's all just on a setting. So I suppose I could do that. And even if I said, okay, I'm going to stick to a system, and then I could just make it as a setting for that system, OSR compliant. It's a possibility. I mean, I'm not going to say no, but I'm going to look into it, see what I can do, because I was doing more work just thinking about this. Remember that I have got my characters, the 4 characters in the 4 Against Darkness setting right now. There's the continent of Karthkog, where all of the Hulat are, the Apani, the Habani, and the Orkani. Basically goblins, hobgoblins, and orcs, except they're not. They are split off genetic variations of the Dwarlen. Elves and the humans are split off of the Dwarlen, the elves as well. So there's that going on, and I can't even remember where I was when I started to split on that. But yes, the continent of Karthkog is Goya, where the humans are, which the Goya is just, if you're Goya humans, one Goy, one human, it says Goya human. They're on a more equatorial southern continent, and they consider things, pretty civilized. But, it's maybe 40% of the actual continent is partially maybe explored. There are dense forests and jungles and stuff like that. So it's home. They consider it civilized, but a lot of people get eaten every year. I mean, you have to get down to almost like down to the week before the number of people being eaten stops being a lot and just a number. But that's the way it is in Lanlua too. You don't notice normal, and you grow up on Lanlua, it seems civilized. And every year, a lot of Dwarlen get eaten. And, you have to drop it pretty low on a zeroed-in basis, going down to like almost a week before it stops being a lot. But that's not, whoopsie, hit the table there. It's not like anybody's singled out. It's just, it's dangerous. It's a fantasy-type medieval oid world, and it's dangerous. They have not explored everything. They don't know what a lot of things out there. And even though there's no real true magic, you're not going, eat my fireball and then casting a fireball out of just the magical ether. Even though you're manipulating forces and energies on a reality higher than ours, the shadows these forces and energies cast do reflect and cause changes and alterations down in our level of reality. And so what we see with the alterations going on up here is, oh look, he just threw a ball of fire out of his hand. It's not magic, but it might as well be. And on Karthkog, it is very dangerous. The Hulat are just starting to move down into the southward area only the past couple thousand years. They're working slowly because Orkani culture is such that you live with the land. And in the place where all the Hulat, the people, the Apani, the Habani, and the Orkani came from when the land bridge and volcanic activity cut them off from the rest of the Dwarland was so harsh and so bad that if you did not do certain things, you would die. Like, you have to live with the land, treat the land right, because if you over-hunt what little stuff there is to eat, there's going to be nothing left to eat, and you're all going to die. If you over-forage, and then you're going to eat everything, and then there's nothing left to eat, and you're all going to die. If you stay in one area for too long, you're going to do all that, and you're all going to die. And the Orkani, those who are the orcs of this place, rubbed all this in hard into everybody's heads. The Habani, the Hobbs, are generally the humans, the glue of the society, holding the Orkani and the Apani and then the Habani, them, all together. Everyone, to some degree, shares the Orkani mindset of you treat the land well, the land will treat you well. You mistreat the land mistreats you. Everybody has that drilled into their head, because if they hadn't done that, they would not have survived as a species. So even though no one may say, oh, we do this because of the Orkani, because of this, because of that, it's almost a genetic thing by this point. You treat the land well. And of course the Apani, they've discovered that they're farmers. They love the land. There's just something about settling down and farming. They love it. There is a common statement. You can take the Apani out of the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the Apani. And they have to be very careful not to overwork the land. Treat the land well. So they don't spread out massively. It is very slow expansion to treat the land well. Because if you don't treat the land well, the land will not treat you well. And yeah, you cannot take the farm out of the Apani. Because in the middle of all this, because my 4 characters are out on this adventure right now, going through a place that is dank and dark and filled with creatures, and there has been violence and the risk of death at every corner. And there is an Apani who has taken on the Goya name of Cornelius, and they are a merchant in the town that I still haven't given a name yet. Normally, everybody who is in this settlement, the largest trading corporation is the West Adania Merchants. They are the ones that set it all up. All the other merchants still can come in, but the West Adania Merchant Guild is the primary guild for the settlement. You sell what you find to them, they pay you. And it's not anything terrible. Sure, they kind of got their boot on your neck in that, yeah, they can pay you what they want, but they're not putting any weight on it. They're being very, very fair. In this world, things are a little bit more cooperative, kind of like it used to be, where more community oriented, where you wanted to help keep your neighbor alive, because if your neighbor died, that was fewer people to help keep you safe. So you help keep everyone alive, so they'll keep you alive. Now, where was I going with that? Oh yes, and so Cornelius, being one of these people, he hires merchant groups, adventurer groups. They go out, do what they gotta do. The only thing Cornelius wants and is paying for is you come to him first. You let him pick through what you found first. Then you take what he doesn't want to the West Adania merchants and sell to them. Cornelius has money. Cornelius is willing to risk that money on just paying adventurers to go out in the hopes that they come back with something. But Cornelius, too, is just an Alpani. And when he talks to others and gets them into the guild, well, they have to go into the guild. And when he gets on contract, they have to go with him into the back of his building where he's got his garden. And as he talks to you, he farms. He gets down on his knees, he weeds, he tends to his plants, and like all Apani, he's got an amazing green thumb. That farm in the back of his building, even though it's relatively small because it's in a semi-settled area, it's blooming. You can take the Apani out of the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the Apani. And so that's that situation. Let's see if there's anything else I've got up there on that. Yeah, that is roughly it, except that I have mentioned that of the Hulat, the people on the continent of Karthkog, they are generally thicker. They have thicker fingers. Their fingernails aren't fingernails, but they aren't claws. They're kind of in between, so they're thicker. They have thicker jaws, thicker teeth, that sort of thing. Their complexion is kind of the range you'd see in a Central American type area. Everywhere from exceptionally light to exceptionally dark, because it's all genetic. And there are differences in not only in just physical differences, but there are skin tone differentiations. The Orkani are more green, the Apani are more gray. But it's not just gray or green. These are individuals that are, alive. They're not chlorophyll or anything. It's just genetic coloration, because if you didn't, those that weren't died. And so the survivors, well, they went and bred. So that's their rough coloration. And of course, the Orkani average about 6.5 feet tall, which is around 192 centimeters. Again, genetic variation. You will find exceptionally short Orkani and exceptionally tall. But probability curve, they all are around 6.5 feet in height, barrel-chested and all that. They're big and muscular. And then the Habani, they're roughly the humans of the Hulat. They're about 5'9". The average height of an American male is 5'9". The Habani average around that with genetic variation, so it's right around in the human range. And the Apani are right around 4.5 feet tall, which is right around 140 centimeters. And they, like again, the Apani, they are farmers. And the Habani, they're just generalists. And the Orkani live in more in accordance with nature. Though, of course, there are the Orkani that live in urban areas. And there are others in Orkani settlements that, as they move in the more northern parts of Karthkog, as they continue to travel from place to place, you will find Dorlan, Goya, Elvandri, all who have renounced the culture that they have come from and live as Orkani and are considered to be Orkani. Thumbs up for that. So yeah, do I have anything else on that list that I want to talk about? No. So even though I'm at 24 minutes, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm going to do my editing on my 4 Against Darkness thing. The next thing I'm going to be doing, as soon as I finish the 4 Against Darkness adventure, they need to find something worth bringing out to get some cash. So I gotta get some stuff. They got that 140 gold piece thing that they had to sell for potions, so they don't really have anything to show for it. So the dungeons in 4 Against Darkness, because it is a different focus, this is not a, you're going down 3 dungeon levels specifically to find the boss. No, they're going inside of a place to find stuff. There may be a boss underneath there, but it's not a guarantee. It might be more than 4 levels. It may be less. But again, all of this stuff, even with Cornelius, did I need to make up this great character for, well, great as in a lot of effort put into this character just for a solo RPG? Nah. One of the things I wish I could do, that there are so many people, like there's the channel Geek Gamers. She does a lot of stuff, but she likes primarily those RPG games where you do a lot of journaling and thinking, stuff like that. I can't journal. I can't write. I haven't been able to write by hand for a long time because I clench and my entire arm will cramp. So I can't write. So journaling that way is not a really feasible idea. And right now, I can't really type with anything. I can type for like 2-3 minutes at a time and then I gotta stop. That'll take forever. So if I just make a few notes and then talk about them in videos, that might be, you know, journaling for it. So I'll go with that. Well, good golly, Miss Molly, 26 minutes, and I used to try and cut these things as off at 20 minutes. Now I'm sort of saying if it hits 30, I'm gonna rush. If I consistently hit 30, I may push it further because the general consensus and comments has been, no, we enjoy it when the videos are longer. So thumbs up for that. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. And if you have watched this far, for me and for the algoritmo, the YouTube algorithm, to let the algoritmo know that people do watch the videos, it's hard to read, but if you could type Minotaur into the comments, then I will know you watched this far, and the algoritmo, the YouTube algorithm will also know. Yay! And of course, well, whatever that was going to be. If you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up and thank you. It is appreciated. I would love to put your names up here. Hopefully I'm reading off the next names so I can put them into the video. That would be very, very cool. In fact, I'll go, hey, I have enough spoons to get this done. I'm looking up at my list of Patreon patrons, and last time I listed off the first 10. So we have, this is more than 10 by the way, now it's going to be around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people I am thanking. There is Dave Ordway, Don Morrison, Hush Neely, Josh Bivens, Katie Purington, Professor Muscovite, Rance Miller, Richard Howard. I don't know how to pronounce this properly where the accents go, so my apologies because I'm going to be terribly, terribly wrong. But it looks like Shashank, S-H-A-S-H-A-N-K, Jayakumar, J-A-Y-K-U-M-A-R, which, knowing languages, that J could be a Y sound. But thank you very much. Sorry I slaughtered your name. There is Sean Butts, Tiago Fernandez, and Tom Haynes. Thumbs up. Thank you, each and every one of you. It is appreciated. You are beautiful and awesome people. So if there's a break and there's that, then there's that, and if not, then boy, did that look silly. But thumbs up and thank you, each and every one of you. You take me from a badly hurting monkey to just a hurting monkey. And in today's American society, that helps a lot. Thumbs up and thank you. For everybody else that has left me a comment, again, thumbs up and thank you. I wish I could, just waving my arms in the air, I got sparkles back here that ain't good. So, I wish I could type responses back, but even though I can't, your comments are read and appreciated. I thumbs up and heart each ones that I can. I'll actually heart them if YouTube won't let me thumbs up them. And sometimes that is true. So, I got stuff that I'm going to try and get done. If you got stuff that you want to try and get done, don't beat yourself up if you can't do it. There's no need to, and it's not going to help you get it done next time. You're just walking a path where you beat yourself up, and it's just out of habit. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is, quite frankly, a very good thing. Oy vey. Life is fun.